Yeah, alright, my flow sinister. This ain't rap music, this straight literature. Small-minded, all your ideas miniature. They tend to hate on you when they can't get rid of you. I ain't going nowhere, 20-year career minimum. Call Hit Boy for beats, ask for 10 of them. I don't follow trends, I swing the pendulum. If the bag good, I'm gon' give her some. Let's reflect times, I try to collect minds from complex rhymes. And by the way, shout out Tech 9. Go and shut the up, just let me talk. I'm a time bomb that's waiting to go off. Quite nuclear, amazing what fame could do to you. Too peculiar, although I'm truly a renaissance starter. My mind divine, it take me a lot farther. Growing up, I really had beef with my father. But why bother explaining my feelings? Try harder.
We're at the oldest continually operating stadium in the NFL as you get a look inside Lambeau Field in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Today, it's a black and blue matchup in the NFC North between the Minnesota Vikings and the Green Bay Packers. The Florida Atlantic man, Greg Joseph, ready to get this one started. And off we go from Lambeau. Wishing he had a mulligan. That's not how you want to start the game.
Not at all, because not only do you give up the penalty and good field position, but it just kills the momentum of your team as you start a game.
Give to Davis Price up the middle here. And they'll get to him after a gain of 7 to the 47. This defense for the Vikings, they were very strong in the win last week over the Giants.
And no matter what's done throughout a ball game, it always comes back to blocking and tackling. That's the essence of football. But I think it's hard for people to understand just how difficult it is to tackle, especially open field. Very few missed tackles on tape that I saw last game.
And now off to the races, down the right side. Touchdown, Packers. Well, if they didn't get the wake-up call before the game, they got it right now. 2 plays already in the end zone.
I think of it in boxing terms, because whether it's a big shot with your first one or a probing one, a little bit of a jab, the second one was the payoff. That was the big one that landed. 1-2, end zone.
Now after the touchdown, here's Crosby to kick it away. Kene Nwangwu now out of his end zone. And only able to get this to the 19, so probably should have opted for the touchback. Cousins and the Vikings with a 1st and 10 at their own 19-yard line. They'll start this drive out on the ground. And he'll be corralled well upfield right around the 40-yard line. That's good for 21 yards and a 1st down. They had a chance to limit his yardage, but he was able to fight off that tackle.
So it's not just the responsibility of the guys who missed the tackles along the way. It's all 11 on defense, able to stop this guy, unable to do it on that play. They've got to find a way. How about his ability to break through and gain that yardage?
Kenny Clark, the big D tackle there to make the stop. And, CD, you look at this defense, what kind of pressure are they under trying to stop a team that has won 5 games in a row?
Well, to me, it makes their job harder because you know you're going up against an offense that's playing at an elite level, and sometimes you can get too caught up in trying to play the perfect game. You're trying to be too precise, too fine, instead of just letting it rip.
Blitz coming, and down he goes. Rashawn Gary racking up sack number 12 for him on the year. So now after the sack, Cousins and the Vikings come up here 3rd and long. And that is incomplete. Well, that's not the way you want to start. First pass attempt and a first drop all in one.
Well, you've got plenty of time to make up for it, but obviously not the way you want to get things started. Got to shake that off and get going.
And he was called on 3 times in the win last week as his first one here's away. That'll be a 43-yard punt, just a single yard on the return. And it'll be Packer football here. First down and 10. About set to get this drive started. The Green Bay offense at the line. Well, just 2 series in here, Charles, but everything's gone to script so far. They got a touchdown on their first drive. Their defense holds, and now they've got a chance to take a 2-score lead.
And to co-sign with you, exactly the start they scripted up. And really, that kind of start, that can set the tone for the game for them.
Well, these 2 teams, they met up way back in the season opener. And it was the Packers who won that game on the road, so they'll be trying to win the season series here at home in Lambeau. Meanwhile, Rodgers' throw finds its target, Dobbs. They get 7 out of that, so they're left with a 3rd and 3.
And when you're playing a quarterback with some experience and some moxie, you enter the danger zone when you decide to blitz him, because if he's able to diagnose as he did on that play, he can hurt you downfield.
He reads defenses so well, doesn't he?
He really does, and the best part about that play for him, I don't think that was his primary target.
I don't think so either.
I think he had the read, figured out where the blitz was coming from, and went to a secondary target for a really nice gain.
It was 3rd and short, and they go flying past the marker for a gain of nearly 30 yards. From Viking territory now, they'll come up 1st and 10 at the 47. Davis Price on 1st and 10. And that'll hurt the average a bit, as this time they're able to get him behind the line. He'll lose a yard there, and it's 2nd and 11. The Packers at 12 and 3 now on the year. And they were winners their last time out, so they'll be looking to make it 2 in a row.
And so much about football, partner, comes down to mindset, being in the right frame.
And now look at this. Big gain, but a fumble. And this belongs to the Vikings.
I think what we just saw there with that fumble return is the increased emphasis on taking the ball away from another team. And no one wants to just fall on the football anymore, do they? They want to take it and try and score themselves.
But when you fall 1 yard short of getting in the end zone, it's a former defender, you know it hurts a little bit, doesn't it?
Not only does it hurt, the laughter in film is going to be intense. You are going to get jumped on for not making it all the way to the end zone.
A little jet sweep to start the drive. And they'll be driven back here, losing yardage to the 10-yard line. Well, sometimes it's hard to take your eyes off this guy at the linebacker position. He can really cover some ground, and he did there to make that play.
And one thing about a play like this, if it's slow to develop, it can turn out poorly. And this play was definitely slow in developing, and that was one heck of an effort to sprint over there and get the man down before he could make anything happen.
Drops this underneath for Davis Price. And here he'll get it down to the 7. That time the completion goes for 4 yards, and we're set up with a 3rd and goal.
That might feel like a little bit of a lost opportunity there for the offense, because the defense brought pressure that time. And sometimes against that, you can get out to your running back, and it can turn into a big gain downfield. But what a nice job they did getting to him quickly and holding him to a short gain.
Rodgers now on 3rd and goal. He's going to flip that out to the flat. It's complete. And he'll be brought down here at the 3-yard line. So now on 4th down, Rodgers will give way to Mason Crosby for the field goal try. From the right hash at a bit of a tight angle. The kick by Crosby is good, and that will extend their lead even further. So the fumble recovery hadn't set up an ideal field position, but they can muster only 3 points out of it.
Yeah, when you're able to force turnovers, especially when it results in field position like they had, you really want to make it hurt. Here, they take the field goal. That's definitely not what they were hoping for.
And he'll be stopped right around where he would have been had he gone down to a knee, maybe a yard shy of there at the 24. Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive. They'll look to get something started. They need to, down 10-0 early as they've got it 1st and 10. They'll check that down to Nwangu out of the backfield. And they'll get him down after a pickup of 8, 2nd and 2.
And I like the idea here. Get the ball in his hands, even if it's in the passing game. 3 catches a week ago, and he does a nice job here to pick up yardage.
Ahead of the chains now, 2nd and 2. Cousins. And he's going to have to eat this one as down he goes. Dean Lowry. He's the one that got home and takes him down for a loss of 9. 10-0 the score after 1 on EA Sports. So now after the sack, Cousins and the Vikings come up here 3rd and long. They'll set up a throw. That ball nearly intercepted, but he could not hang on. Oh, pick there certainly would have been nice. Instead, at least it'll be 4th down. So on 4th down, on is the punter, Ryan Wright. First kick, 47. This one looks good as well. Fielded at the 33. And he'll be out of bounds, but able to get it up past the 45. A nice job getting free on the return for 13 yards. And they will take over 1st and 10. The Packer offense ready to get their next drive underway. Their drive last time, it stalled out. They were forced to take the short field goal.
And the key phrase, you nailed it. Forced to, because you know coaches look at these short field goals as a last resort, right? To them, that's not how drives are supposed to end. You're supposed to put 6 on the board. That's a consolation prize. Like going to the county fair, you don't get the big stuffed animal on that one, do you?
No, you don't go top shelf. That's bottom shelf material. 2nd down, and again it's Davis Price. And they're well past midfield, just a yard or 2 shy of the 40. 72 yards rushing for him now as his fine rookie season continues. They'll send a receiver here in motion right. Now a play fake. Rodgers. And he fires one that's intercepted. And the Vikings are going to take over at their own 41. And, Charles, that's now 4 interceptions over his last 3 halves of football because, remember, he threw 3 picks last week.
Starting to wonder if maybe defenses and those coordinators have identified something on tape with what he's doing. Maybe a movement, maybe the way he's moving his shoulders. Who knows what it could be? He could have a few tells out there that they're keying in on and allowing defenses to get to the football a little bit faster. People steal signals. Maybe sometimes they can figure out what the quarterback's doing just by his movements.
Credit him with a 1-yard gain there to make it 2nd and 9.
No doubt about it. A really nice job there by the defense, not allowing him to get to the perimeter. But that means your defensive ends, your outside linebackers, the guys that you pay big money to sack the quarterback, they also have to have interest in the running game as well. And they did a nice job there of holding the point of attack and not giving ground.
Going up top for Miller. And that's going to be incomplete. Good effort there trying to take a shot, but it's 3rd down.
I tell you, Brandon, this defense is playing with some confidence. Haven't allowed a point yet. Flying to the football. I'm telling you, it's almost 11 to the ball on every snap. Another nice job there to force an incompletion.
And that's knocked away and incomplete.
Well, this first half has not gone according to plan so far, offensively or even defensively for that matter. They could use a big-time spark somewhere, but it's not going to come on this drive as they have to punt this one away.
And here's Ryan Wright now as he's on to punt for Minnesota. He's been a busy man here in this first half as he gets it away. Taking it about the 16. That'll go as a 39-yard punt. Give him 9 on the return. And that will come the offense as they take over. About set to get this drive started. The Green Bay offense at the line. Well, still early in this one, Charles, but the last time this offense was out there, they threw their first interception of the ball game, so trying to avoid repeating that mistake here on this drive.
And to put a positive spin on it, at least it happened in the first half and not in a close game in the fourth quarter, but you're absolutely right, partner. One of the last things this offensive quarterback wants to witness again in this game.
Kind of an obvious question, Charles, but anything you try to avoid after your first pick, or you say it's one interception, we're still in the first half, I'm going to do the same thing?
I think you want to avoid playing scared, and put it into the mind of the quarterback that you've lost confidence in him. Make sure you get some throws that he's going to be able to complete, make him feel good about himself, and continue to run your offense.
Throwing is Rodgers on third down. He'll let this go deep for Lazard. That's into a crowd and intercepted. And the Vikings are going to get the football there as he gets this up to the 38-yard line. So this defense coming up with a takeaway, and maybe that's something that can bring a little life to that sideline.
Well, I don't want to say that they've been sleepwalking through this first half because that's simply not true, but you're right. We haven't seen a lot of fire from these guys, really, on either side of the ball. So maybe that's the catalyst that they needed to get them back into this game.
Meanwhile, Cousins' throw complete to Reagor.
It's a nice completion, a little bit of run after catch as well to create the yardage that they got. But it is so tough to cover that route, the drag route, because they run it at varying speeds. Because the key is to create hesitancy on the defender's part.
Always so empathetic for those DBs, aren't you? Here's Chandler on second down. And he is met in his tracks behind the line of scrimmage. It'll go as a loss of a yard, and it'll set up third down. To throw is Cousins. Dancing to his left. Throw left side complete. That's Chandler. And he'll be taken down, but not before they work this to the 45.
That's a nice job there knowing what his options are. He's out of the pocket to his left. And I thought maybe he'd think about running with this one, but he uses his vision instead. Finds his man on the left sideline, and they convert on third down.
Cousins on first down. And this will be well too low for him to bring in. It's incomplete.
They certainly did a nice job improvising there, extending the play, hoping someone would come open downfield, but they never did.
Second and 10, a very chilly day here, but no snow. And I got to say, if it's going to be this cold, I want snow. You should see Charles' face. He's looking at me like I'm crazy. And they'll get this down to the 42-yard line. They'll get only 3 there, so it leaves them with a 3rd and 7 ahead. We've hit the 2-minute mark of the first half. 10-0 our score. And they'll need to get to the 35 if they want to keep this drive going on third down. Again, it's Cousins. And past the 35, he'll be dropped a yard or two shy of the 30. He's got his first catch here before halftime, and it goes for a first down.
Yeah, these are the types of plays they're going to need to hit on if they're going to get back into this game. It hasn't been the greatest of first halves, but this is a nice throw here on third down, and they keep the drive going.
This offense finding its legs now. Here's another 1st and 10. And he'll manage to pick up about 4 at second down.
And that was a quality play to start a new set of downs. That was simply an offensive line winning the battle up front and winning in a big way and giving their guy in the backfield a nice lane to hit.
To throw on 2nd and 6, Cousins. Sideline throw, it's complete. And a nice job there of keeping the toes inbounds. And that's good for a gain of 6. And that'll bring up what looks to be a 3rd and inches. Can't be more than a half a foot. And they'll try and run the option to pick it up. And able to get this down inside the 15, either the 13 or 14 before he's out of bounds. Out of the huddle now for play number 9 on this drive. This is 3rd down and 8. He's got Smith here. And his bid for the first down coming up short as he's tackled at the 25. The Packers going to use one of their timeouts as the stoppage will come with a little under a minute to go in this first half. And this is going to be no good. He misses it off to the left.
Always disappointing when you miss a field goal, but when you're playing against a defense this good, you and I both know that's a crucial miss because you can't afford to leave any points out there. You've got to take them when you can.
The Packer offense ready to get their next drive underway. And with a little under a minute to go, still time to try to put a drive together to add to their lead should they so choose. So give them 5 yards there on the pitch and catch, and that's going to bring up 2nd down. Here's Rodgers to throw. Throwing left side, it's complete. And now look at this. Big gain, but a fumble. And fortunately, he's able to get this one back, so it is a first down. Now the Packers going to go ahead and use the second of their timeouts as they'll stop the clock with 24 seconds to go in this first half. And now before the ball changes hands, they're going to take a look at this just to make sure that they have it right. So that one overturned. They say the knee was down, and that will not be ruled a fumble. Rodgers now on first down. And he'll toss this one incomplete. Seeing no options, he throws it away. Well, the incompletion, yes, but maybe here not the worst thing in the world?
No, not on 1st and 10. It actually gives them a chance to regroup, relax just a little bit. They huddle up, talk it over. Then they get a chance to continue their drive.
2nd and 10 from the 33-yard line. Rodgers to throw once more. Throwing left side, and Watson has it. And he'll be hauled down at about the 30-yard line. Now the offense will burn their 3rd and final timeout. And with halftime on the horizon, they'll be out of timeouts from here forward. They got to get to the 23 here on 3rd. Now Rodgers. Flushed out right. And incomplete. He had nowhere to throw, so he just tossed it away. But that brings up 4th. So now on 4th down, Rodgers will give way to Mason Crosby for the field goal try. He made his first, this from 47 yards out. The kick by Crosby is good, and that will extend their lead even further. So a big play before the end of the half to get him into this spot, and they cash in with 3.
How about the 1-2 to the solar plexus on that one? The big play, the field goal, not much time left on the clock. That's the way to go into the half.
So with 3 seconds remaining in the half, they will line up to kick this one away. Nwangu now from his end zone. So we've come upon halftime here in Week 17. As we'll send you down to Orlando, and we check in with Jonathan Coachman for our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach. And we welcome you back now. Alongside Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin, getting set for quarter number 3 here. The final 2 quarters of the NFL regular season are upon us as the second half of Week 17 is underway. And the half will begin with a touchback. the Vikings now to start their next drive.
Charles, it'll be interesting to see what adjustments this offense made in the locker room. Haven't really been able to get anything going offensively, virtually nothing in the ground attack either. So certainly something has to change here in quarter 3.
And I'm pretty sure their friends from the defensive side of the ball told them exactly that, because those guys, the stop troops, they've been playing pretty well, and they've kept them around in this game. Now, they've got some time. The running game struggled in the first half. Opposition knows how to focus on defending the pass here. They've got to re-energize that ground game and maybe open things up for a comeback here in this half.
Three yards on that last carry. Here's 2nd and 7. Here's Cousins. It's caught on the right side at Smith. And only able to get 2 here. Stopped at the 30. This offense in desperate need of a conversion as they come up on 3rd down. That's complete to Chandler on the check down. And he will have a Vikings 1st down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion.
I'm not sure that was necessarily a safety valve or a check down throw on 3rd down. Sometimes just try and find the open guy and get him the ball. He did exactly that and found a way to pick up a 1st down.
Play fake. Cousins. And he'll just get rid of it.
The goal is certainly to try and make a big play happen and climb back into this game, but you have to be careful. If you overdo it, you could turn it over and hurt your team.
An incomplete pass on 1st down. That leads to a 2nd and 10.
Now a handoff to Chandler.
And nothing doing. He's immediately taken down at the line of scrimmage. Calling no gain on the run there, and now they'll be looking at a 3rd down. Those are the plays this defense needs with the deficit they're facing.
It certainly is, and they've got to continue to swarm the football and hope that someone, while they're holding up the ball carrier, can get in there and rake it and lock it free. They need to get some takeaways as well.
On 3rd down, Cousins. They're trying for Reagor, but it's intercepted. Devondre Campbell, the linebacker, picks it. And the Packers are going to take possession of the football.
And that has to be a little bit discouraging, because after all their halftime talk, adjustments and points of emphasis, the first drive ends with an interception. Absolutely aggravating if you're a head coach, because you spent all that time, gone through every situation possible, and it still ends in a turnover.
So 1st and 10 now from the 30.
Davis Price up the middle.
A short gain here, maybe a yard to the 29.
Yeah, things were pretty stacked up there in the middle of the line. A lot of bodies, not much space. I think ultimately he was fortunate to get anything out of that run.
2nd down, and again it's Davis Price.
Well, you certainly have to give a little credit here, because they're playing this game now at their pace. This is ball control football, sustained runs, taking their time, and making it work.
They had great starting position to begin the drive, but now they look up at a 3rd and 5. Working from the gun, Rodgers being chased out left.
Got Dobbs over the middle.
And he will be brought down at about the 6-yard line. They're able to convert on 3rd down, and that sets up a 1st and goal.
And remember, this drive started off following the turnover, and they've taken no time working their way down the short field. A nice connection there, and now they're looking at a 1st and goal.
They'll run with Davis Price.
And he gets halfway there from the 6 to the 3 on a gain of 3.
And now defensively, you have to look at this like the game's on the line. It's just the 3rd quarter, but another touchdown given up here could really spell an end to their chances, so they need to toughen up and keep them out of the end zone.
Davis Price again.
And he'll take this into the end zone for a Green Bay touchdown.
Ty Davis Price hitting double digits with his 10th rushing touchdown on the year. And the Packers use the short field to get in for 6. Well, fair to say they've got something here in this rookie running back, and he's in for the 2nd time of the ball game.
And Brandon, it's a position where there's often a lot of turnover, a lot of competition at that spot. But he's proven to them that he wants to be the bell cow guy that his franchise can rely on.
Crosby with the extra point, and that pushes the lead up to an even 20. After the touchdown, here's Crosby to kick it away.
Nwangwu now from his end zone.
Now a hit and a loose football. So a teammate picking him up there, that was nearly disaster.
And the way that you coach these things, you want to make sure you have eyes towards the return guy, because you want to make sure that the catch is secured. A lot of teams do that. They have at least one guy. Okay, you're responsible for making sure he secures the catch. He's not always the one that makes the recovery, but he can always sound out the alarm. Hey, ball's on the ground. We've got to get it back.
Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive.
I kind of feel like they've reached a do-or-die point in this game, Charles. If they're going to try to pull off an impressive comeback, it has to start right here, right now.
Yeah, now they've got a final chance to get out of this situation, but they also understand they've got to move the ball and move it fast. In addition, they need to save as much time so they can get 2 more possessions.
They go play action. Cousins. Looking right sideline, but it's incomplete.
And there's another stop. One of the league's best defenses is certainly bringing it again this week.
This offense in desperate need of a conversion as they come up on 3rd down. Cousins to throw it.
They're trying for Reagor, but it's intercepted.
Picked off by Darnell Savage. And the Packers are going to take possession of the football.
Well, still down quite a bit here, several scores, but yeah, at least that's a start, Charles, getting the interception here. And look, we're still in the 3rd quarter, so this thing not done yet.
You're right about that, Brandon. This defense, they haven't quit on this game. They stayed with it and got an interception and handed the ball back to their offense. And what you wonder about is the team that...
And he's going to go down. They sack him back right around the 30. Say hello to Eric Kendricks. He gets the sack there.
One of the league's best linebackers. He ended that play almost before it began. And the running back, absolutely overmatched no matter what he tried to do.
2nd down. Here's Davis Price.
He'll get about 6 there as he takes this one down to the 24-yard line.
That's a really nice job by them picking up the run blitz and detecting it and blocking it and turning it into a nice run. And a lot of times you think if you blitz a running play, you're going to smother it. But a lot of the blitzers, they come in a little bit high. They don't have great leverage, and they're easily blocked and turned to the side.
Well, good field position to start the drive, but under the gun now here on 3rd and 8. Now Rodgers. And he can't find anywhere to go with it, and he goes down. He could not get away that time, and it'll be a loss of 11 on 3rd down. The kick by Crosby is good, and that will extend their lead even further.
So they got the turnover, started a great field position, but in the end, the defense able to hold firm, and they only get 3 out of it.
And I like what you said right there. That defense able to hold firm, backed up into the shadow of their own end zone. The goalpost right behind them. They had to make sure they didn't give up the 6. And, boy, they came through in a big way. To them, even though they gave up 3, that's a win for their side.
Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive. They're sort of seeing themselves spiral out of control. Let's see if they can get things back on track.
And this is
the 3rd interception thrown by Cousins. Picked off by Quay Walker.
And into the end zone. It's a pick 6 and a Packer touchdown.
Well, I mean, you get it. They're trying to make something happen here in this third quarter, CD, but I don't think a pick six is exactly what they had in mind.
No, not at all, because this offense, they've been stuck all game long. Haven't dented the scoreboard yet, and they're kind of forced to take a few chances here, and that one, it backfired in a big way.
So they throw the pick six. They'll get another shot at it now as this one's in the air.
Nwangu now from his end zone.
Now a crease here as he's past the 30. And they're going to have good starting field position. He's out of bounds, but not before he's across the 35. Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive.
Well, we haven't exactly been treated to a nail-biter in this one, CD, and if they cannot score here, this one's pretty much all but over.
Are you saying that you feel like people are starting to think about getting out of here, maybe beating the traffic in order to get home or to their final destination?
Yeah, I don't think there's a whole lot of reason to hang around, especially if they can't score here.
Yeah, you're right about that, because it has been pretty clear who the better team has been in this one. And in a league that we talk about every game being a one-score game as we go into it, watching this blowout, let's just say it's been unusual. His impatience has to be bubbling over, trying to find a way to get his team to the end zone for the first time. He did find a way to break contain and get outside to buy his receivers a little extra time, but the connection couldn't be made on that throw.
An incomplete pass on that last play, and that means they'll need to come up with something here on third down. And now a first chance for the backup here to throw. And he's going to lose yardage here, as they will switch ends as time is run out on this third quarter play. Back now at Lambeau. It's the Vikings in possession of the football, but they need some points. They're trailing here to start the fourth. The Vikings going to signal for the first of their timeouts. That'll leave them with 2 remaining. We'll be back after this.
And here's Ryan Wright now.
As the drive goes backwards, so he's on to punt it away. Good coverage there holds him to just a 2-yard return following a punt of 44.
And it will be 1st and 10 as they take over.
About set to get this drive started. The Green Bay offense at the line. And, Charles, we are in the midst of a very one-sided affair. I think this is where you and I have to fill a little bit. You want to regale us with old stories of your childhood in New Paltz, New York?
I don't think anyone wants to hear that, but this is a perfect time for us to start listing MVP candidates, right? The best teams we've seen so far this year, the best games that we've called thus far, how we anticipate the season unfolding. We can go in so many different directions because the game is certainly not taking us there.
Oh, I hear the remotes clicking off right now. And they'll get it up just short of the 45 at the 44. Now they face a 2nd and long following the holding penalty.
2nd down, and again it's Davis Price.
And not much there. Maybe a yard up to the 24.
Brandon, I've got to think this offensive line has got some smiles on its faces. And I know it sounds crazy, but they practiced for this back in training camp. They knew they'd be in situations where there'd be extra defenders in the box coming after them, trying to keep them from locking down a game. Right now, they want to show the world they're up to the challenge.
Line of scrimmage, the 37 on 1st and 10.
Handoff right side, Davis Price.
Room here to run. And he takes this one down almost all the way to the 30.
128 yards rushing for him now as he has been tremendous all day long.
Well, that's a carry they have to be satisfied with. And throughout this game, they've been satisfied with what he's given them. Whenever they've needed a big run, a first down, he's the guy they've turned to. And it doesn't matter what the defense thinks. They feel like they've got the confidence to keep handing it to him and keep picking up good yardage.
Back to the ground, this time with Jones. And he will lose yardage here to the 31-yard line. Officially, it's a 1-yard loss. That's going to bring up 2nd and 11.
I have zero rooting interest in either team in this game. I only want a good game. But with all the offense we've seen from them tonight, it's kind of nice to see the defense step up and make a big play.
Yeah, I was wondering if they were ever going to get him in the backfield. Nice to see him get a stop. Here's Jones again on 2nd down. And only able to get 2 here. Stopped at the 30.
And the big fella stuffed that one up in a big way. I think doubling him has to be a priority because you can't move up to the next level if you don't take care of him first.
They got to get it to the 21 here on 3rd down. Rodgers now to throw. And he will get into the end zone. It's another touchdown. This thing is ugly.
When coaches come into a game preaching total team effort, CD, I think this is the type of ball game that they're dreaming of. It was pretty apparent early on that they were clicking in all 3 phases. It's been fun to watch.
Yeah, sometimes in the NFL you end up with matchups like we've been watching here. And when you go back to the early drives, you can just see that one squad was on a different level in this game. Safe to say, we have been disappointed in watching their execution throughout this contest.
Nwonger now from his end zone. And he'll be stopped right around where he would have been had he gone down to a knee, maybe a yard shy of there at the 24.
Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive.
We certainly had a sense coming in here that these guys were in for a tough one on the road. That has been how this ball game has played out. They trail big as we continue on now here in this 4th quarter.
A loss of a full 3 yards, and now it's 2nd down. Just 2 minutes remaining here in the 4th quarter of what has been a one-sided affair. So the Vikings in possession of the football as we get you reset. They're looking at 2nd down now as they search for a consolation score. Now on 2nd and 13. Cousins hauled in over the middle by Rager. They get 11 back on that one. It leads to 3rd down.
That was a nicely run slant route, and what the receiver's trying to do is make the defender think he's going upfield for a deeper route and then breaks it off, usually after about 3 to 4 steps, and cuts towards the middle of the field. And now what he's trying to do is use his body to keep the defender away from the football and give the quarterback a really nice target.
And that's taken in. It's B.C. Johnson.
And they're going to have this across midfield and inside the 45. Excellent play there on 3rd down. Give them 25 yards. On 1st and 10, Cousins. Packer pressure, and down he goes. Preston Smith from that outside linebacker spot gets in there. It's a loss of 9. So it's all over. A Green Bay victory. And I tell you what, Charles, this might be about as good as it gets. They were incredible.
Yeah, offense was in fine form. The defense threw the shutout at them. I think they worked in concert together. What I like about the offense was they held the ball pretty well. You know, time of possession, exactly what they were looking for in this one. And that helped out their defense. Didn't have to be out there the entire time. So when you do that and you're out there fresh playing, a little extra spring in your step, and it showed up in this one.
They had a ton of spring in their step. Impressive victory.
Yeah. You're in the presence of the realest essence. I've been serving lessons since the days of my adolescence. On the Cypress block, young buck holding the like we knew it all, not afraid to do it all. Matter of fact, to look back and do it all. I can remember the haters say the game will ruin y'all. What's that to me? Don't give about a hater. Let them like the in my paper.
They call me Big Dog, riding with the hillbillies. Cubone staying with the lip. Really became a boss many years back when I'm gone. Can be pull your tears.